Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Scott. There's Dave, and do we have a tasty treat for you today? Farmer Vincent's fritters with Motel Hell from sometime in the 80s, and it should have stayed there.
Oh, man.
Dave, you let me know right away that you were having a hard time with this one, so let's hear it.
This was a painful watch for me, folks. Usually, I'll watch a bad movie because 9 times, I think about most of the bad movies we watched come around to being good bad movies, like fun to watch. This one was not fun for me to watch. This was not a fun bad movie. This was just a bad movie. Rory Calhoun, once again. Rory Calhoun from Hell Comes
Wanted to work or...
We just posted that one the other day. A little late, but better than never. Hell Comes to Frogtown. He was in that. He was in Night of the Lepus. Yeah. He made an entire career of bad 80s horror flicks, evidently. It hurts. It hurts. This was a bad movie. I took some notes, but let me go through them real quick. Did you take any notes?
Well, I do, and we can start on, because I know you'll have something to say about this. I just want to talk about Terry, and here's the setup for the movie. You have Farmer Vincent, and I don't know if that's his sister, his wife, his sister-wife.
It's supposed to be his sister.
Yeah. Well, she obviously has a thing for him. They make meat snacks out of people and pork. So
Sweeney Todd, this isn't.
No, it is not. He sets up traps and gets passerbys and basically smokes them. But at the beginning of the movie, he takes out a guy and then a girl on a motorcycle. And I just want to talk about Terry is probably the dumbest fucking bitch in any movie ever.
The actress's name, real quick, was Nina Axelrod.
Well, Nina is a fine actress.
For what she
her character, I experienced the fastest case of Stockholm Syndrome I have ever heard of. 3 fucking days. Her boyfriend's body isn't even cold because, hell, he's not even dead. She falls in love with Vincent, who's 50 years older than her, and they're going to get married.
You know, for me, that was the most disturbing part of this movie. She was, 18, 20, maybe?
Yes.
But her boyfriend was just as old as Vincent whenever he shows up. I'm like, wait a minute. Because they finally take the helmet off and you see him and you're like, fuck, that guy's just as old as Vincent. What the hell? But I have a theory on that. I have a theory as to why. Because initially I was thinking the same thing you were thinking. Like, what horrible writing is this? The problem with the writing.
And there's many.
Bad. Just that it was bad. It's just terrible writing. Is they only hinted at why I think she had that kind of Stockholm Syndrome, or the reason she was so mellow there, is when they first find her, he's telling his sister, the Lord saved her and wants her alive, so you need to help me. The sister tells him what to go out, what berries to get, what herbs to find, get all this stuff together. And I think what she did is she made a liquid or something to give to Terry to fuck with her mind a little bit, to make her more malleable for what they wanted.
Yeah.
For
Except the things she asked for don't affect the mind that way. Golden seal, valerian root. I was like, okay,
I don't know.
Is that what?
I didn't look any of it up.
You might be right.
But that's what I'm thinking. It was bad writing, so the guy probably didn't look anything up. He's probably just like, herbs. We'll throw some herbs. Give me an herb book.
That's a pretty name.
But I'll do that. Valerian root. That sounds good.
If they were going to do that, and I mean, it's basically what you're saying with the bad writing, but if you're going to do that, you need to show that. This is a case of show, not tell. And
exactly.
That was painful.
But that was the only thing I could come up with, because that was after about 5 minutes of me sitting there thinking about it. But I think that's what they were trying to do with the roots.
I thought of that as well, and I still don't buy it. So it's like,
No, because they didn't keep showing. They didn't show her keep getting drugged. You know,
exactly.
If they would have kept drugging her, I would have understood it. And why were they planning I mean, I know they're all insane. I mean, they're making, turkey chitlins or whatever out of humans. But why? Now, folks, when you watch this movie, not only does nothing make sense, but there's something that really doesn't make sense. They plant John Ratzenberger like a tulip, like he's a bulb, in the ground, up to his neck.
Mm-hmm.
And they're cutting up the larynx and the boxes, the throat boxes, so people can't speak. They can't talk.
Yeah.
All you hear is like that kind of stuff. I don't know why. Because he was treating them like they're a plant. Like, oh, they're almost ready for root. And I'm like, now the man's insane. The guy's supposed to be insane. So maybe
that made no sense to me.
Maybe that was supposed to be part of it. But I don't even see an insane person doing this. This is just like, what are you doing, man?
Okay, now due to the fact of horrible writing, I surmised that this whole movie took place over the span of maybe 3 days tops.
I couldn't tell. I assumed it was a couple of weeks.
Okay, but it don't feel like it. It just boom, 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 and it's like, I'm sorry, in 3 days. God damn,
well,
this
is
horrible.
Sheriff is hitting on her up in the hill. Like, and if it was 3 days, it's like, really? Dude, her boyfriend just died.
Well, I know, and she's like, oh, I feel safe here. What? Bitch, you crazy.
But I'm thinking that was supposed to be the drug. But like I said, they never showed her getting re-drugged,
Yeah,
over and over again. But the writing's horrible. The writing is absolutely, and I looked at it last night, but I didn't write it down. I think the same guy who produced it, and I don't know if it was the same director, but it was like the same guy did like 3 or 4 things on the movie. So it was it's bad. This is a bad movie.
It needed a better write. This movie could have potential, but I think it was hampered by budget. Actually it could. It could be a cool story. We don't need to be planting the people.
Yeah.
I think it would be more disturbing if he was actually raising people from children up to like livestock, because that's how he was talking.
See, that would have been, because that's how he was talking about them, like they were
exactly. He was. Now there's some funny things about this with Farmer Vincent, and all his talking with Ida. They feel they're doing the Lord's work. They are saving the planet. Because it's overpopulated and there's not enough food. Great. Here, I'm going to take a message and I'm going to make a really fucked up movie with it. And it doesn't get the message across and we just laugh at the movie. But God damn it, Wolfman Jack makes a great shyster preacher.
I'm just hoping the World Economic Forum doesn't see this movie, because they'll be like going, hey, that's a really good idea.
Coming soon, Soylent Green.
No. Germans tried that once already. Let's not do that again. Okay,
Not
Charles
again.
Schwab, sit your ass down. We tried that once.
But I think what works for me in this movie, because there are some things that work for me. Okay.
Okay, I got to know what worked for you, because I'm trying to think in my own head what was working. The basic plot worked kind of for me. Like he was making meat out of the people. That you've seen it in Sweeney Todd and other movies.
Yeah,
so
it's a story that's been done. And I think they just decided to make a spin on about what's having plant. And nobody asked, why would you plant people?
Right.
I have to go off something before I forget it.
Oh, go ahead.
One of the groups of people that Farmer Vincent catches is a band and a bunch of stoners.
Yeah.
And they're driving along, and the guy driving is like, man, we need to find a place to crash, man. And then they crash.
Yeah.
Literally crash. Pretty bad, pretty lame. I just had to get that out of my system.
That's and folks, that's the funniest line until the very end.
Yes.
When Farmer, did you write that down?
I have that down.
Okay.
I have that down. That's one of the things that work for me. But go back to your original question. What works for me?
Right.
Is Farmer Vincent and Ida.
Right.
The fact that those two actors played their roles seriously.
Yeah.
They believed and made me believe. Everything else was just horrible, but they were so fucking committed to it. I bought it.
Well, Calhoun's a good actor, so he pulled it out. I mean, he did. He did pull the horrible script that he was given. He did pretty well. You believed this guy was disturbed.
Yeah.
And then when Ida showed up, you definitely believed Ida was disturbed.
She brought it, man.
Yeah, that woman. Did you recognize who she is?
No, but I was thinking the whole time. I was like, I know her.
She's I forgot the character's name, but she's the coach from Porky's.
Oh my
She's
God,
the
Mrs.
female coach.
Ballbricker or whatever.
Ballbricker, the
Yeah.
one that was like, she wanted to see all the guys' penises because one of them had showed,
It has a mole on it.
It has a mole on it. Wait a minute, you want me to get all the boys in school to pull down their pants? Yes, and they're all laughing at her.
Yeah,
that's who she was. I was like,
have you seen this?
God. Yeah, have you seen this? Wow. The FBI has been notified. No, sorry, wrong movie.
That's a classic.
It's a classic. But yeah, that's who that lady was.
Oh my God, I see it now.
Yeah.
It's like,
and
where have I seen her?
But you're right, she played that part really well. I mean,
that's what worked for me is they were able to sell those parts. They were very serious with it, and the fact that they were serious with it helped. Because this movie could have fallen apart at any second. I'm surprised it made it all the way to the end without falling apart completely.
For me, it did fall apart completely, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
You like 6 times. When does this end?
The other part that works is the ending with the final line of Vincent.
that was the funniest line.
As he's dying, he has a confession to make. A really profound one, that he's such a liar and a cheat because he's been using preservatives in his meat.
I've been using preservatives in my meat all these years.
That, to me, helps tell me that this movie was never taken seriously. And I'm good with that.
It could have been funny. If it would have been a darker comedy, like if they would have really punched up the comedy, the problem is the writer didn't know how to do comedy. He tried with the swingers.
Oh my God, yes, he tried.
Did you recognize her? Did you recognize the lady?
No, I didn't.
The character of Edith Olsen, Elaine Joyce. She was a big character actress back in the 70s and 80s. Man, when I seen her name, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I would have never pictured her in this type of movie ever. Just like for all the things that I knew her from, like. What is it? Love Boat, Fantasy Island. I think she shows up in Barney Miller. Anything in the 70s and 80s television-wise, she was in at one point or another, co-starring. I think she was probably in a bunch of television detective movies as either the woman who got murdered, the girlfriend, or the wife that did the murder or something. It was always just. She was in everything, it seemed like, when I was a kid growing up. So when I seen her in this role, I was just shaking my head like, no, what happened? What happened to your career? And then Ratzenberger, this must have been right before Cheers took off.
Yeah.
It must have been right before Cheers took off.
Yeah, this was mid-'80s. I remember being pretty young and catching this on HBO or the Movie Channel, or Joe Bob Briggs had it on.
This is one of those movies I had heard about, but I had never seen. Yeah. And I honestly was expecting more from it.
I was
Quality-wise, like shooting-wise and set-wise and that, great. It was released by MGM.
Yeah.
The people who gave you Singing in the Rain also give you Motel Hell. One of these things is not like the other.
When I watch a movie like this, now let me just get this out of the way. I did not like this movie, but I do recommend people watch it. I can't tell you why. There's something about it that is like, okay, I was entertained.
Right.
I've seen worse. And I don't even know what I was about to say. But when I watch a movie like this and some of the others we've seen, I get really mad because it's like somebody gave these fuckers money and they could have had so much more. And it's like, you get the money and this is what you do.
Yeah, and this is what you do with it.
Yeah. Oh man.
There's got to be
I want a chance to do that. We need to make our Motel Hell.
we need to make a horror flick, I know you did one that's award winning now. Is that how I read that? Or it's up for an award?
I'm not sure which one.
The trauma one that you did?
No, it's at festivals.
At the festival. I'm sorry, I misread.
Yes, it's going to be at Trauma Dance in July up at the I can't think of the name of the drive-in, but they have a huge thing with Lloyd Kaufman's going to be there and Sergeant
Oh
Kabuki
no.
Man, and they're doing a bunch of Toxie movies and stuff. So it's going to show
I
during all of that. So
I love the first Toxic Avenger. That was funny.
we're excited, man. It's going to be
That's pretty cool. That's freaking awesome. But for this is where I disagree with you. I think everybody just needs to miss this movie. This is a bad
It's
one
a fair
for me.
point.
I had a really hard time watching this movie. I put this down with Devil's Express easily.
Okay.
It's
Easily.
just that bad. For me, it's that bad. I will never watch this movie again. And I liked Rory Calhoun. He did a good job.
Yeah.
Nancy Parsons did a good job.
Yeah.
The girl who played Terry, I mean, 40 minutes in, by the way. 40 minutes breasts. Then they showed Terry's breasts a few minutes later. It's like, what? Yeah. This actress got through almost this entire movie without popping out her titty. And boom, there you go.
It was the 80s. It was a requirement.
Just got to show it.
Yep.
Whatever. But anyway, the 80s. Can you show us your boobs? Why? Why do we have to show?
Yeah, it was never necessary, and it wasn't an amount to even make a difference to say, hey, we've got so much gratuity in here, come check it out. There's none of that.
There's no reason for it. But this is just a bad movie. I can't. No, I get it.
I get it. I disagree. There's something fun about this. I know it sounds weird. There's just some.
No, I get it.
It's got some charm, and I know this movie shares a cult following, which is cool, but it's not good. And if you say it's a good movie, I think you're full of shit. So.
I see the potential. I think I like you. I kind of see the potential for it. I think it needed to be rewritten several times or additions put in. The humor really had to be pumped up on it. Tucker and Dale did the humor of dark comedy to a T. Like they just made the most disgusting thing laugh out loud, like, because it was so over the top. And I
just think of the wood chipper.
Yeah, like the wood, like this guy's jumping in the wood chipper, he won't stop. It's so over the top and it's so disgusting and it's so horrendous. But the way the guy handled it, that was trying to pull the guy out of the wood chipper, is funny. And that's in Tucker and Dale. That's.
We didn't have any good moments like that here.
There was no good moments. There were moments that were almost like you see where they maybe are going to go, and then they don't for whatever reason. Probably, I'm guessing, budget constraints, or maybe the writer just wasn't that good of a writer to see the potential of the joke. I don't know. Maybe Rory Calhoun just looked at him and went, no, I'm not going to do, whatever. But he's already doing this movie, so I can't imagine him saying something.
Yeah, I think this movie was hampered by budgetary constraints in some ways. Because here's the deal. If you're not going to have a very strong story, or it's not going to be well acted, or it's just not going to be great, you're going to have to give something to the audience to entertain. Right. And horror movies a lot of times will shift to gore. How much gore can we show? And that's going to keep people entertained because it's cool to see. Now, for me, when I see gore on screen, I'm just looking, oh my God, look at what the artist did, how they did this, and it's amazing. And I love to see a lot now. It does make me cringe still, but if it's done really well. But that gives people something to talk about. Or give me, God forbid, I know there's a group of people I'll catch shit for this, but give me a jump scare. Give me something. Play the music up.
A jump scare can work at the right time. You can't do it through the entire movie. Yeah. But you can get one or two good jump scares into a movie, and they work. Hitchcock was good with a jump scare.
Yes. And
they were always nothing moments, or almost always a nothing moment. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so, I do. Even in what movie did we watch? North by Northwest. There was a couple of moments where it was like, a little shocky, a little jump.
Well, and that's a perfect example. You bring that up, and that's an example of a very good filmmaker and director to be able to build the suspense. You got a good script, good scenes, good actors, all that's going, the music, the score.
Yeah.
this will highlight how important a musical score is for a movie. With the right score, this could have been ramped up. It's little things like that,
Yeah.
but so that tells me it's budget.
You're probably right. And what, like I said earlier, the filming was nice.
Mm-hmm.
The sets were nice.
Yeah.
Everything looked like it should have been about 4 steps better than it turned out. And I honestly think a lot of that is in the writing. Most of it, I think, is in the writing.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he could have spent an extra 2 weeks writing it and cut back on some of the money for the sets. I would have rather had worse sets and a better story.
Yeah.
Than the really good sets they had and this terrible story.
And this is some of the weakest special effects I've seen. They're pretty poor. The human bodies just look like plastic blow molds or mannequins. It was, and the throat, the laceration on the throat, it was very obviously an appliance that was laid down and glued on. So
let me ask you a question about the movie. Now, in this movie, the people that are planted finally get up.
Yeah.
They finally somehow manage to get out of the ground, and they go and kill one of the bad guys in the show.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
I don't know. They just up and fucking first off, the people escape. The people that have been planted escape.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the movie shifts and we get a nice drawn out shot with fog and lights, and you see the survivors shambling along like some fucking zombies, and it's like, what the hell just happened? Did this just turn into The Walking Dead? And then they're like rabid, and of course they would be. I'd be mad as fuck too. I can't talk now.
You're killing the person who did that.
I'm killing the motherfucker. Yeah, and so, but then they just disappear after they take her out.
Yeah. Did they all drive to the hospital?
One of them, her boyfriend, who was still alive.
Yeah. Well, he wound up getting killed, right? Did he get killed? Yeah, he got killed. But he went to try and save his girlfriend. Another old man saving. I don't know what it is with Terry and the old guys, but she really liked older men.
And we're talking much older.
Yeah, like grandfather. These guys were old enough to be her granddad, not her father.
That was a creepy
They were old
scene.
enough to be her granddad. Yeah, I have a feeling Calhoun. I don't know if you picked up on it, but it looked like he was very uncomfortable with doing that scene to me. Like, not just the character being uncomfortable, it looked like the actor was very uncomfortable being kissed.
So if it wasn't, he really sold
it. By a girl that was probably 18 or 20 at the time.
Yeah.
Like, as an actor, I would be very uncomfortable with that.
It would be hard. Yeah.
I understand, like, you have a love interest and she's your age, you have a kiss or whatever. I get that. But as an actor, if they were like, well, this 18-year-old girl's in love with you and she's going to make out. No, she's not. What do you mean? Every guy wants, no, not every guy wants that. No. Nope. No. What? That's sick, man. I'm old enough to be your grandfather.
Yeah, exactly.
So that would be like, so I have the distinct feeling, maybe I'm wrong, but looking at Rory Calhoun in that scene, he looked, honestly, not just character-wise, if it was acting, if it was all pure acting and he didn't care one way or the other, boy, he's a better actor than I ever would have given him credit for, because he looked actually uncomfortable.
Yeah, he did. I caught that. I was like, oh, damn, he really sold that, is all I thought. But now you bring up the possibility that, they could have been, and it worked.
It wasn't a good scene. I'm going to go through the characters and the people who played them. Rory Calhoun was one of the main characters. His name was Vincent Smith, and that was Uncle Vincent's...
Farmer Vincent's,
that's it. Farmer Vincent's meat pies or something like that.
It just meats and,
Paul Link was Bruce Smith. That was the guy who played the sheriff. That was supposed to be Vincent's brother, younger brother.
Much younger brother.
Much younger brother. Wolfman Jack was Reverend Billy.
He played that shit. What a fucking ham.
Right. Elaine Joyce was Edith Olsen. She was the swinger. I just think it's funny that John Ratzenberger, he didn't even have a speaking role in this. You know, he had a roll. That's all he said. Nina Axelrod played Terry. Nancy Parsons played Ida Smith. That was the sister. Nancy Parsons, like I said earlier, she was in Porky's and Porky's 2 as Ballbricker or Bellbricker.
I don't know.
Ballbricker. That's it.
A play on Ballbreaker.
Yeah, Ballbricker. Because I think that's what they call her is Ballbreaker, but her name is Ballbricker. And she's the big tough, female coach, and I thought that was pretty good. But those were like some of the people that were in the thing. Like I said, boobs at 40 minutes, at the 40-minute mark. Did you catch the actual damsel in distress from the 1920s or silent movie era moment in this movie at the end? They've got Terry, the character of Terry, on a
oh Jesus, yes,
and she's rolling towards the meat cutter, and the meat cutter blade is going back and forth like it's gonna cut her. And I just started chuckling. I was like, "That's funny." That to me struck me as funny. I was like, "Damsel in distress," because she's screaming like the damsel in distress, "Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me!"
That was the longest roll too.
Yeah, it was like 2 feet. And that son of a bitch is going on for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll never get my time back from watching this movie.
Understood.
I hold you accountable for that kind.
Okay, that's all right. Fair enough.
And I already made the note about the sister. I was thinking that the sister was drugging Terry.
Yeah, and that's probably accurate because I thought on that, but it's like to me the whole movie seemed like it took place over just a couple days, which makes it make no sense at all.
That definitely would not make any sense.
That's the storytelling, though, because I'm left thinking it was over 3 days only, and it's like, well, whatever. It's just...
Nancy Parsons, real quick, I'm back to her again. I found this on IMDb. She was nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actress. And I guess the Saturn Award is some kind of horror award. But she was at least nominated for it. And I thought, that's kind of cool.
Very cool.
I thought that was very nice. And she deserved it. I would say she deserved it.
Yeah.
Nina Axelrod, the girl who played Terry, I did not look her up to see what else she did. But she wasn't a bad actress. I have a feeling this was probably her first role or maybe her second role. But she wasn't a horrible actress. I could see her had she stayed acting, her getting much better.
Yeah.
I'd like to look her name up and see if she's actually done anything else since then. I imagine she did. I don't know.
I'd like to think so, but who knows? Who knows?
But this movie was...
You're welcome.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Like I said, the sets were good.
Yeah.
And I kept expecting it to be a bad movie that I really enjoyed because that's what I went in expecting.
Yeah.
But for me, I just kept going. This is going to be funny. This next moment is going to be hysterical. No, that was pretty lame. No. Yeah. Here comes the joke. No joke. Here comes the really scary part. Oh no, that wasn't scary.
There's nothing scary about this movie. There's nothing gross about this movie. Except the idea of cannibalism. The effects are not pulled off very well. It is what it is.
I could have been okay, I think, with the bad effects because I don't mind like bad horror effects. I really don't. They do not have to be absolutely super real for me to enjoy a bad horror movie. If the writing would have been a lot better.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what
I can let really a lot of that go. I start to look. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I think once you find something bad, you start rolling with it. It's like, okay, now what? And it's just if the writing and everything would have kept my eyes away from the plastic bodies and stuff. So I'm not saying I could do better, but that was. Ugh.
The writing would be better.
Yeah, the writing would definitely be better. But
I don't, like I said, I honestly think that's you can get away, like you said, with the bad looking special effects. You can get away with having link sausage coming out of somebody's insides and pretending it's your bowels, plopping
Yeah.
out, because the joke would have been there. I watch a lot of Brit comedy, and there's one called Red Dwarf. I brought it up on the show before. And there's, in season 10, there are these android slash hunter droid things, but they're humanoid looking. And there's a very funny moment, and it's a sick moment. The head droid is bitching at one of these other droids for letting the humans get away, and he takes his sword. He goes, "You know what this means?" And he takes a sword and he pushes it towards this android. And they all look human, and the guy's looking down at it. And he goes, "Yes, my liege." And the guy is like wipes off the sword, and he puts it in him, and he cuts him, and he's making, you hear the sound, and he's like, and he's like, oh. And after you see this moment, the bad guy head android says, "It means you have to polish my sword." And the guy's like, "Oh, I really wish you would have told me that sooner, my liege, because, with what I said to you." And he says something else, and I want you to write 100 times, "I will not fail you again." And the guy's like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "I wish you would have told me that sooner," because he starts picking up, what is obviously like sausage links that are just like in sauce that are all covered, and it's a bad special effect, but it's a disgusting special effect and very funny because of what the dialogue is. They didn't have anything like that here. Like, if they would have had a moment where it's, somebody doing something really disgusting and then coming up like, "Oh, I thought it was something else," and, putting their insides back and wrapping it up. And I don't know. There was just so many moments that should have been a good punchline or should have been a funny, disgusting moment, and just never was. It's like, they're setting it up, and swing and a miss for me. It's, I just like, I wanted to like this. I was expecting to like it because you told me Rory Calhoun's in this one. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be great." Rory's great in bad movies. Nope, he was great in this movie.
He was great in this bad movie.
He was great in this bad movie, but that was it. Him and Parsons were the only two good things in this movie.
That's what
not
worked
enough.
for me.
That wasn't enough to save it.
No, it wasn't. So that's your final thoughts? Save yourself?
I think that's my final thoughts, and I'll never get my time back, and I owe you one.
Yes, you do.
Well, no, I would say this is fair trade for Star Wars Holiday Special.
Sure.
I think this is a fair trade.
That's all right. I think you still owe me for Night of 1,000 Cats.
I might owe you for a Night of 1,000 Cats. This isn't that bad. This isn't that missable.
No, it's not. It heads close, but it's not there.
It's not as mean spirited.
No. This particular movie I saw as a teenager, and I guess I had a different memory of it. I thought it was something that I liked even more, or thought was really cool.
Yeah.
So I approached that way last night when I sat down to watch it. And it's like, oh, this is bad. I don't remember what I liked about this. This is horrible.
There were boobs in it at 40 minutes in.
Yeah. I watched on Tubi. God bless Tubi.
I love Tubi.
I love Tubi, and the commercials gave me a break.
Yeah. The time to go, what the hell am I watching?
Yes. And then it's like, oh, we're getting closer. Oh, another commercial break. Thank God we're almost done. But here's the thing. As much as I'm talking about bad-mouthing this movie, for some reason, I think everybody should watch it. I don't know why. There's something cool about this movie. There's something just so off. It's a weird little something that I was like, this is just one of those. It's like, but you can honestly miss it. But why would you?
I think I've explained why you would.
Exactly.
What's really funny is you and I usually will find something good to say about a movie and say, it's worth watching. This is only worth watching because of Rory Calhoun and
even then,
and Nancy Parsons. Is that right?
Yeah,
Nancy Parsons. Really, those are the only two reasons to watch this movie. And even then, it's not a good movie. You will not go away from this movie, folks, and go, no, what's Dave talking about? That was a great movie. No, you're not going to say, I don't, if anybody ever thinks it's a great movie.
Okay.
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 Okie dokie. Hi, Daisy. My dog come in for a visit again.
Oh, yeah.
Standing like right here, down here, getting petted.
But I think it can be passed. So next week, I hope we have something a little better for y'all to check out. Got some surprises coming your way, maybe, or maybe not. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, share, tell everybody, tell them you love us, tell them you hate us. Just spread the word. Join our conversations, drop us a line, help us out. And
share us, share us with your friends and tell your friends to share us, and because just keep sharing. Just share us all over.
Yes,
just share us around.
And we'll see you next week after we've been passed around.
After we've been passed around.
Like two swingers in a Motel Hell. Hello.
What was that?
Have a good week.
Have a good one, folks.